Hey guys. So we started a new series this week called Salt, and it really is a way to get people's thirst up for having conversations about God, right? Like there's some really big questions. If you ask people, they kind like we all want to know the answers to it. So asking these questions is a way of creating thirst to learn more about God. And the first thing is, have you ever wondered about God? There are videos that go along with these, and this video we'll post it on Facebook and YouTube and all that, and on the website. But check it out and share it with your friends. It's literally meant to be used to ask the question for you, right? You could just send it to somebody and be like, "Hey, check this video out." And it goes through the whole range of ideas that people could have about God or gods. And then it asks them at the end, "What do you think?" Which is a really great way to start a conversation, right? It's not about us talking or telling them what we believe. It's asking what they think and listening to it, right? Take time to listen to it and then think through all the implications of what they believe and how that plays out in their lives, right? And then you can share what you know about God and how that has impacted your life and what that looks like for you. And that's a great way to have a conversation about it. And it's not like where you're fighting and warring against people. You just want to know what's going on. So we want to create thirst in people's lives to really get to know the one true God, the God that came down as Jesus and died for our sins. We want people to know that God, but we need to give them opportunities to get into that without it seeming like an adversarial, us versus them thing, because it's not. So have them watch the video, ask them what they think, start conversations about them, then we'll work together and work through the questions. So on Sunday, all we really tried to do, we watched the video, and then we tried to talk about what Christians believe God to be like, right? And that's a huge subject, so we didn't get really far. But we just looked at this thing called the Apostles' Creed. It was written in the 3rd century. A big council of church people came together and did this, but they made it off of all of the stuff that we have in the Bible, right? Like the Gospels and the writings of Paul. And they used that and looked at it, and they're like, we need to kind of make I believe statements for Christianity, right? You get up and you say, I believe this. So that's really what the word creed means anyway. So they made this list of things, and it starts out saying, I believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. That's the very first part. And that's really the biggest part where it talks about God. They're just saying they believe that there is one God, and he is a father of Jesus, father of all of us in a way, because he created all of us. And he's almighty, meaning he has all power, meaning he can break the rules of physics if he wants to. There is nothing that he cannot do. That's what we believe. Raise Jesus from the dead? Yeah. There's nothing he can't do. And he's the maker of heaven and earth. He's the maker of everything we see, all the stars, all the planets, all the suns, everything out there, and everything here on earth. So think about that, right? And then we're going to read from Acts chapter 17, verses 24 through 25. And it says this, and this kind of helps us think about God too. It says, the God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, right? There's one God, right? There's not gods. There's one God, and he is the Lord, meaning the king of everything, of heaven and earth. So heaven as a spiritual place and physical, right? And everything here on earth. And it says he does not live in temples built by hands, and he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. All right, so let's stop there and think about that. So the person here in Acts is saying that God created everything, and he doesn't live in a temple, right? He doesn't live in church buildings, and he doesn't get served by human hands. We don't do anything for God. God doesn't need us to do anything for him. He is standalone. He is king. He is strong. He doesn't need us. He created us, in fact, right? So they're kind of saying, it's underlying, but it's saying that God isn't just some construct of the human mind. It isn't just some idea that people came up with because we had to try and explain stuff. There are great stories all around the world from different people groups about cosmologies. Cosmologies meaning how things came to being, right? How the earth was created, and every different not even religion, but different people group back in the day had these cosmologies, and all the people around the Jewish people had these cosmologies, these ideas. There's one where they said that a wolf and a bear got in a fight up in outer space, and the wolf, like the bear, bit the wolf or something, and like stars came out of it, and that's how the world was created. Like, right? Like everybody has these stories because to some degree we all want to know what's going on and how it all came to be, but but the person in here in Acts is saying there is one God and he created everything, and this God is not just a construct of human minds. It's not just a story that we made up to try and explain things. He's like, we've seen him do amazing things. He's spoken to people. He's worked in people's lives. We can know him for real. All right, so I just want you guys to think of some questions this week. I'm going to ask you the questions that we talked about in our small group and just figure out honestly how you answer them. Don't worry about like what you think I think or anybody at a church thinks. Like really ask the questions and really know what you think about them, because that's a really big thing. So the first question we asked, is there a God or gods? And if you believe there is, then why? And if you believe there isn't, why? Like, you have to have some kind of reason. So just like, no. Like, think about it. It has huge implications if it's real, right? So how can we learn about or know God, right? Like, can we learn about this God if there is one and know him? Like, and then next question, what is God really like? Is God merciful, vengeful, angry, happy? Like, does he mess with people? Like, what do you think God is like, and how can we get to know that? Next thing, does God want anything from us or for us? So does God want us to do anything, to live a certain way? Or does he have like hopes and dreams for us? Like, what do you think they are if he does? And the last one, does God care about us? That's a really huge question, right? Because there are a lot of older religions that say there is a God, but you don't know if he cares about you, right? Or there are gods, but they don't care about human beings at all. But the Christians we believe that there is a God who wants to be in a relationship with us, right? That a God that died for us on a cross. So we have to think about that. Does God actually care about us? We'll see. Figure out what you think about those questions. I'm going to read one awesome quote from Albert Einstein. And he says, "The human mind is not capable of grasping the universe. We are like little children entering a huge library. The walls are covered to the ceilings with books in many different tongues. The child knows that someone must have written these books. It does not know who or how. It does not understand the languages in which they are written, but the child notes a definite plan in the arrangement of the books, a mysterious order which it does not comprehend, but only dimly suspects." Here's one of the smartest guys ever saying, when we look at how the universe works, we have no idea how it works. And we can see that someone or something has put it in order, and there is an order, but we just don't really understand how it works. That to me points to a God. So wrestle with these questions, and we're going to talk more about the questions that you guys brought up in our small groups a couple weeks from now. So love you guys. God bless. Have a great week.